When the dog unexpectedly entered the hospital, the team was startled and tried to chase him away. However, one of the doctors got close enough to see what he was carrying in his mouth, and the discovery moved her deeply. It was around 6 o'clock in the morning when a dog named Jack began his morning run in search of food. He preferred to go out early as the streets were still empty, meaning he could search for food without danger. As usual, he headed to the trash bins of a restaurant on Main Street. Jack didn't mind humans, but he didn't fully trust them either. In his 9 years living on the streets, he had witnessed a lot of indifference and even cruelty, having been a victim himself several times. However, there was something he would always be grateful for: the human habit of throwing away food scraps at the end of each day. As he sniffed around the bins, something caught his attention. Behind one of the trash bins, leaning against a brick wall, there was an old blanket wrapped around something that seemed to move. Cautiously, Jack approached. He sensed the smell of a human, which he didn't like much. But as he brought his snout closer to the bundle, he realized this smell was different from any other human he had ever encountered. His instinct told him there was something fragile and defenseless inside. Although it was human, he knew it would not survive without help. Jack observed the blanket for a few minutes before giving it a gentle nudge with his nose and carefully picking up the bundle in his teeth. Then he lifted it. Now the stray dog had a mission. The small being inside the blanket moved slightly and then relaxed in his mouth. Jack knew he had to make an urgent decision. He needed help, but it was very early, and no restaurants were open yet. There was no one nearby, but he understood he needed someone's assistance. The being in the blanket moved again, and Jack sensed the urgency of his mission. A few blocks away, he knew of a building where he sometimes found food and where there was always activity at different times of the day. As he turned the last corner, Jack confirmed his expectations by seeing several people there. Some were walking through the parking lot while others quickly entered through the automatic doors. To his left, he noticed a large van approaching with sirens blaring and red lights flashing intensely. Without hesitation, Jack headed toward the automatic doors. Inside the hospital, the shift was changing. A team of paramedics was moving a patient to one of the emergency rooms, and a nurse at the reception was calling the on-duty doctor over the PA system. That was when she noticed the dog's presence. She was immediately annoyed. There was a hygiene issue, and on top of that, a dog in the emergency room would certainly cause a major distraction, something undesirable in that environment. Determined, the woman stepped out from behind the counter and started trying to shoo him away. Jack noticed she was trying to expel him without even paying attention to the bundle in his mouth. His instinct suggested he should leave the bundle on the floor and walk away, but he felt he needed to find someone else. Quick and agile, he dodged the annoyed woman and headed toward a small kitchen where 3 nurses were having coffee. At first, they didn't notice him, but upon realizing his presence, 2 of them immediately tried to shoo him away, just like the receptionist had. The bundle in his mouth moved again, and Jack looked at the 3rd woman with a hopeful expression. She watched him with curiosity, then got up and calmly approached him, speaking softly. Jack liked her instantly as she seemed different from the others, so he allowed her to come closer. When he noticed he had her full attention, he carefully placed the bundle on the floor and took a step back. Marina, who had worked at the hospital for nearly a decade, had never seen anything like it. She understood dogs and knew this dog's behavior was directly related to the package he had brought. When she saw him release the bundle and step back, she understood it was important. Observing the state of his coat, it was clear he was a stray. Marina didn't want to scare him but knew she needed to pick up the package quickly. She took 2 steps forward, keeping her voice calm as she spoke to him. Jack took another step back. As she knelt down to open the bundle, Marina felt tears well up in her eyes. This was the last thing she expected to find. It was a newborn baby, just a few days old. He was struggling to breathe, and his skin was bluish from the cold. Marina acted quickly. She called to the receptionist nurse, asking her to get a doctor and informing her the child's condition was critical. She rubbed her hands to warm them and tried to stimulate the baby, gently touching his chest and feet to provoke a reaction. Unfortunately, the small body didn't respond, but Marina managed to feel his pulse, which gave her renewed hope. As soon as the doctor arrived, Marina stepped aside. He checked the baby's pulse, and
He
listened to
checked
his
the
breathing
baby's
before
pulse and
taking him to
listened
the
to his
emergency
breathing
room.
before taking-
Marina exhaled slowly and turned her attention back to the dog. With a gesture of gratitude, she praised the animal and extended her hand, hoping he would come closer. For Jack, this was something out of the ordinary. Normally, he would have walked away, but he sensed this woman had a kind heart. When Marina extended her hand a bit further, he felt at ease. She carefully placed her hand on his head and scratched behind his ears, thanking him for saving the baby. Jack decided this woman would be his friend. He liked the way she petted him, and when she turned to get her coat, he followed her with his gaze. Marina smiled upon seeing the dog watching her as she put on her coat. Then she crouched down, petted him once more, and walked toward the door, saying, "Are you coming with me?" and motioning for him to follow her. Jack understood and followed her. 3 months later, many things had changed for the stray dog, the baby he rescued, and Marina herself. She decided to adopt Jack, giving him a real home. He finally had a place to call home and was adapting well. But the good news didn't stop there. One day, when he saw her return home with a small bundle in her arms, Jack caught a familiar scent and became excited. The baby Marina was carrying was the same one he had found wrapped in the blanket. Marina sat down with the baby in her arms while the dog lay down by her feet. 3 months ago, her life had been lonely, but now, thanks to the bravery and wisdom of this incredible stray dog, she had a family to love forever. Dear viewers, how about you? Would you act like Marina and approach the dog, or would you try to chase him away from the hospital? Let us know in the comments. If you like this story, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.